This is Talking Points Season 2, powered by the Plank Center.
We're your hosts, Tamarra Thal,
Zane Landon,
and Sonny Miller.
We'll be bringing you exclusive conversations with both emerging and seasoned professionals to talk about various topics associated with our Plank Center resource guides, which are free on the Plank Center website, by the way.
From tips for their younger selves to how they made big moves, you'll hear it all from the brightest minds in the field.
This season's theme is cracking the code to workplace confidence. In the upcoming episodes, we'll talk with some of the leaders of our field about how they sometimes struggled with that dreaded imposter syndrome, grew past self-doubt, and how even the best among us might still need a little bit of reassurance every now and again.
So join us every week as we shine a light on the new voices in our fields, learn from industry experts, and talk about the future we aim to build together.
Thanks for listening.
Welcome to another episode of the Plank Center's podcast, Talking Points. We're your hosts, Sonny Miller
and Tamarra Thal.
We are so excited today to be with a very special guest, but before I get to her, what are we talking about today? Our season theme is cracking the code to workplace confidence. Confidence is more than what meets the eye, it's something we're born with. It's a muscle that can develop and strengthen over time, and that you can do the work to develop and strengthen within yourself. It's about embracing uncertainty, asking tough questions, and trusting in your abilities and the goodness of others. Confidence fuels our professional growth, enabling us to take bold actions, build strong relationships, and navigate challenges with resilience.
So with that, let's jump into it. So as Sonny alluded to, we have a very special guest today. We're speaking with Myreete Stanforth, Head of Growth and Marketing at Ketchum, and she's one of the co-founders of the Plank Center's Emerging Leaders Committee. Welcome, Myreete.
Thank you both. I'm so excited to be here.
It's so great to have you with us. So let's just jump into it. To kick things off, could you walk us through your career and how you got to where you are now?
Sure. I mean, my career is it's kind of normal, but also exciting that I started in car sales, actually, in Kentucky. I sold my very first car when I was 16 years old. I had just gotten my own license at the time. Then I went to the University of Alabama, and I actually was leading the marketing and catering team for a regional fast casual restaurant. And I just remember going for the job and getting a phone call from my boss, future boss, and he said, "The job is yours. Wait for it. Pray about it. Do you want it? And call me back once you do." And I was like, okay. And so I never had anyone tell me that before. Like, wait to take a position, pray about it, think about it, meditate on it. What do you mean? Of course I want this job. And so it was the first time that I actually got to understand that my future roles were on my grounds. And so I actually helped them expand their 9 stores to 30 in 3 years. And at graduation, I then won the opportunity to interview at Ketchum for an internship. They used to have a gamified interview process, and I requested time with the lead of the Chicago marketplace. His name is Bill Zucker, one of the greatest guys there ever was. And actually the Plank Center helped me by recommending my name. Thank you, Ron Culp. And so I started at Ketchum, and I have been there ever since. I've been there for 10 years, which is kind of rare, I think, right now. But it's something that has helped me gain my confidence because I understand everything about the business, every part of it. I started in account management. I started media pitching. I would travel the world. I would travel the U.S. Opening Gander Mountains, an outdoor store. I went on tour with the New Kids on the Block with a toilet paper brand partnership. I wrote media strategies for a program called Prescribed to Death, which actually won a bunch of Cannes Lions, and it helped talk about the opioid epidemic, and even the White House took note of it. And then I traveled to Cannes and actually helped develop Ketchum's on-the-ground content and whatnot. And it just, all of these things added up to one another. And now I'm in London, and I get to do my absolute dream job of running the new business team for global markets working with the greatest humans there ever was, with our affiliates, with our catalyst markets, with our wholly owned Ketchum markets. I talk to Germany and Brazil and Austria all the time, and I get to do all of this because I did take a step back and I took a pause. And I got to figure out what I wanted to do and figure out this like long-term strategy to get to where I was. Um, to get to London, I made a big deck. I made a 7-page deck on the reasons that I saw Ketchum investing in the London office and seeing the opportunity there and wanting to work with the global market CEO Joanne Robertson there, and they actually approved it and allowed me to move over there, and it's just been the greatest little blessing to be able to do that. But ultimately, if history is repeating itself, then it makes the future easier to predict, and then you can make strategic moves to get there, and that's affords your confidence in a lot of what you're doing. And so I might be rare to be at Ketchum for 10 years, but my tenure is surely where I get my confidence in being there. And yeah, it's all about what you learn along the way.
I love that so much. Hearing your story is so inspirational, starting from car sales, you said, to now, head of a whole org, and that's just great. And like, especially you talked about like trusting the process and understanding that like each spot that you started in, you excelled in that, and you allowed that to like build your confidence for the next role. So this was super inspirational to hear.
And don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, I definitely didn't excel all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
pitching, account management wasn't my thing because I like fast, I like different, I like the fact that new business is different projects and it's really quick, and I get to learn new topics every month is
Hmm.
something totally different. And so you have to kind of fail while you learn from yourself and learn about yourself and figure out where you're meant to be, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think that what's funny is, before we started recording, you said, I feel like no one's going to want to listen to me talk about confidence because I'm just like an annoying confident person. So what but I think that what's so interesting is you've had so many roles, and even though you've been at Ketchum for 10 years, you've had all these various roles and responsibilities within that time. You were a car salesperson at 16. So in my point of view, you're the perfect person for people to learn about confidence from, because even though it's inherent, you're using your confidence, to propel yourself forward. But what I liked about what you just said is you also mentioned failure and having to
Hmm.
learn from that failure. Do you have an example of maybe a time that you failed and it helped you build your confidence in the long run, even if it kind of hurt in the short run?
Sure. I don't know about one example. I think over time, every day you kind of learn something new that you can perfect. I try to find one thing to get really, really good on every single year. This year is actually storytelling. I think COVID lost the art of storytelling and the relationshiping that goes with that. And so I'm reading a lot of books about how to tell a story, how to explain yourself in a condensed way with that executive positioning kind of thing. And so if you're open to feedback, if you're open to reflection, even just how my original boss said, take a pause, take a beat, reflect on it, pray on it, figure out if this is what you want. If you reflect on what you're doing every day, you can get just a little stronger at it, a little better at it. And you also, if you are an intrinsically confident person, you have the opportunity to bring other people along with you, and that ultimately, I don't know, builds your bench and allows you to feel even more confident. So if there's someone that you work with who's not as confident, bring them along because they are different. And if you bring that diversity to the table, then everyone around you gets stronger and better. So you might all fail at some point, but if you're all learning from yourselves and bring it all together and bring your best to the table, then like you can't fail that way.
Hmm.
And that's, I don't know. And then you get your buddies next to you because you've brought them all along with you, you know?
Yeah. sort of having like your advocates who are just like your support network essentially.
Someone called it
And
their someone on the someone sorry, who
I
I
think
don't know
it's
who it
Ron, their
was.
board of directors, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah,
exactly right.
I think that's the Ron Culpism.
Yes, they created their own board of directors, and they're all
yes,
totally different people, and they're all able to look at you and say, "You messed up here, but you're really good here, and here's how you can make that stronger and better." And if we all have that board of directors, there you
that's
are.
how you grow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you brought up a really good point earlier, Myreete. It was about feedback and being open to it, and that's how you help yourself grow. How do you balance this sort of issue between being very sure of what you bring to the table, being sure of yourself and your confidence, while also being open to feedback and making sure that you're continuously growing?
Mm, love this. Um, I there's so much you can take away with feedback, and sometimes it might need to be on your playing field. You might have to be the one that goes out of your way to ask for the feedback. Um, I know myself pretty well in that if someone gives me feedback randomly, I get a little more in my head about it than if
Mm,
I proactively went to someone and said, "Hey, this is how I work. This is how I receive feedback the best. Here's what I expect to how I expect to receive feedback at the end of every project. I want to review it with you. I want to know what we did well. I want to know what we can do better. I want to know what we failed at really badly. And I want to figure out in everything we do what the solution is, what the action is. And if you do that consistently, then your teams understand how to give you feedback. They understand how to receive feedback themselves. But if you go out of your way and just proactively explain how you receive it best, then it's going to be on your terms, and that'll help you have a little more confidence in it, no matter what. So, I feedback is a gift. I think change also is one of the greatest things that can happen to us, and that's really hard to grapple with.
hmm
But it's something that we have to get uncomfortable with, so that we can, I don't know, ask questions, build credibility, find reliability with your teams, and just you have to have feedback. You have to have it.
Yeah.
To grow.
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, even with myself too, I've noticed like having these conversations recently a lot with my manager. It just builds a good rapport with them too.
Yeah.
Like you said, I can get in my head a lot when I get it randomly and I'm like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting to
Oh
get
well.
some of this feedback right now." But having like these quarterly calls or monthly calls with my manager where we're dedicated to just understanding how I can improve on a project, she understands then at that point that I'm willing to grow and I want to keep growing. So
Yeah.
I love that point.
Yeah. If you I almost say name it to tame it in naming what you need so that you can go
Hmm
into those meetings. Because I bet you go into those meetings knowing, okay, it's a monthly. I know I'm going to get feedback. I'm prepared for it. And you
Yeah.
can like almost zen yourself out and be ready for those conversations and being open to them to figure out what's next. And you also have to come expecting that people are good. Like
Mm,
people are kind at the heart and they want to see you succeed. Even the hardest bosses that you might have, those that are the most gruff or something, they want you to succeed. If they don't, find someone who does.
yeah.
Because the whole point of us working as a team is to succeed and to continue in success. And if you know that your team has your best benefit and at heart, then you can ask stupid questions. There's a a guy that I love to watch. He has this video called "Be the Idiot," and he talks about going into the room, and if you are confused by anything, ask the question. Be the idiot who is asking the
Mm,
question, because if you don't understand it, chances are someone else in that room, if not more than just one other person in that room, is also confused by what's happening. And so you asking the question and being the idiot in the room allows them to also receive the information in a better way. But you kind of have to do that
Yeah.
on behalf of your team sometimes. And if you have confidence, if you are intrinsically confident, be the idiot and ask the
Yeah.
question and be there for as a support for your team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because vulnerability honestly is a sign of confidence in a lot of situations like
Absolutely.
that. How do you use vulnerability and curiosity in, in your role as a leader, and how have those played a role, knowing that you're kind of an intrinsically confident person, right? How have those kind of concepts played a role in your career?
I think we all have to reflect on how we are and who we are. We have to figure out what our values are and understand what keeps us going each day, because even the most confident people are going to have days where they just don't feel good about how they're showing up and the work that they're doing, and just in general. So you have to have awareness of yourself. You also have to continue to educate yourself, and I mean, I love therapy. I love going to a therapist. I love
Shout
talking it
out to
out.
therapy.
Shout out, please go. You don't have to have a horrible thing that's happening to you, just figuring out how to navigate it. I think the best gift that Ketchum has given me to date is a an executive coach. And you don't have to have like a true big important executive coach. You can have one that's even in training, but one that you can talk to. And I think I expected them to give me all of the tools and to tell me exactly how to make it to the next level, or to how to go into a room with C-suite and navigate it, whatnot. But really, it's just like a another therapy session for the for the business world. And you navigate, why do you do something, how do you do something, and they ask all the W's, all the H's, and it just helps you reflect on it. And you might be intrinsically confident, but you also have to be really respectful of other people and really respectful of what their backgrounds are, and educate yourself on it too. Educate yourself on culture. Don't just volunteer that you don't know something or you're uncomfortable in the situation. You have to work to understand the people around you, and invite them into the fact that you might not know everything. And that also might create vulnerability that allows them to open up too.
Yeah, you
Mm.
gotta follow it up with action. And I
Yes.
love the shout out to the career coach, and the therapist. I mean, Jen and Ralph, my therapist and career coach.
True, right?
Shout out, love
Right?
you guys. Couldn't do it without you.
Yeah.
I love the comparison to career coaching and between career coaching and therapy, because it 100% it feels like the exact same thing. And sometimes I'm like, oh wow, I'm having the same conversation with two different people this week, but like through different lenses.
Right.
Um, but how have you gone about seeking out those, maybe those external voices, whether it's a formal, paid relationship with a therapist or a career coach, or your board of directors? How do you seek those people out to help build up your confidence?
I think it started from the beginning. I mean, just us even having this conversation right now, I wouldn't have known you guys if I hadn't raised my hand initially to be involved in the Plank Center. There's so much that, especially young people in our industry, that they can do right now, which is just go make some friends in our industry. They call it networking, but just
Hmm.
show up and make a friend out of it. Like, Sonny, I could call you up anytime and we can go just get a beer or non-alcoholic
Happily.
something. I don't know what it is. We can
Yeah.
do anything. Get a
Call
hot
me up.
dog
I'll come
and just
across the
have
pond
fun,
anytime,
right?
Mary.
Exactly. Like, we could just go and hang, and that's what you have to do right out of college, is go make friends in the
Put
industry.
yourself out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you get to a more executive level, those friends turn into business opportunities because they trust you and they know you and they understand that you're going to have their best benefit, and you're going to have their back in your own world. And so, I think it's just, how do you make those relationships, is just putting yourself out there. That being said, if you're not keen on making a bunch of friends and going to networking events and whatnot, there's other ways you can do it. And we're living on the internet, so there's so many ways you can have informational interviews and have, you can do Toastmasters and meet people that way. You can go on LinkedIn Learnings and start connecting with people that are the actual leaders and trainers of that. And there's a lot of ways that you do that. You don't have to be the extrovert. I'm not actually an extrovert. I love a couch. I love a couch. I love to retreat. I love to kind of walk away from situations in a lot of ways and just kind of allow myself to rejuvenate. But you don't have to be the extrovert to get that board of directors. You just have to have people you trust and allow yourself to be in those situations. And if you're the recipient of the confident friend saying yes to whatever you want to do something, yeah, yes, I do. I'm going to be there. I'm going to show up. I don't know what we're going
Yeah.
to do. I'm going to say yes.
Speaking of saying yes, I mean, that's such a good point. Sometimes you just have to really do it. Um, can you share a moment when you had to really just do it and how that experience shaped your confidence today?
Yeah, I need to think about it. Hold on. This could be
Maybe
like a,
moving across the world.
oh, right.
Just as an example, I don't know if that's not your preferred example, but you did move to London.
Okay, all right, that's true. Like, not off the record, just find you a partner who is going to support the hell out of you. Um,
What
that's
a
what I did.
great career advice, let me tell you. Yeah.
That's honestly though, if you find a partner that is going to support you in your career and at home, you're going to be the CEO one day. Like you're not going to be you can't be stopped. And
Hmm.
so something that I had to take a leap of faith on, I guess, was London. And my husband, we got married. 1 month after getting married, he said, I would really love for you to get the opportunity that I had, because he lived all over the place, to live abroad, period. And I will support you in it. And I was like, done. So I looked at the financials for Ketchum, for Omnicom, for where they were kind of starting to invest. I looked at where the leadership was really being well used. I looked at where there were job openings in London. You have to have the opening to get there, that's but I looked at everything. I made this huge strategy. I wrote an 8-page deck on why I should go to London, and I'm thinking that it's going to take years. I just wanted to like tell them why I want to go there maybe in the next 5 years. I don't know.
Plant a seed.
Just plant the seed. We bought a house. We're renovating our bathroom. We're renovating our rooftop. Like we are living in Chicago at this point. And I come back 4 months later and they're like, "Okay, we're ready. We're ready for you. There is an opening that is exactly the title that you have, like serendipitous, all of the things." I had a lot of senior leadership support and trust in me. And I mean, I'm hoping I just proved myself over the years, but that might be why it was easier to get there. But they said it's a go. And so we sold our condo and we sold all of our stuff and we brought 4 bags and we showed up at a Airbnb and I started in the London office, and it's been the most humbling, exciting, wonderful, and yet home-like experience there ever was. And I'll give a lot of credit to my husband in saying you should do it and meaning
Hmm.
it, because I uprooted all of his life too. And yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a great one. And I mean, you moving across the world is such a great example of just like confidence and also taking risks. And I think that's like risk taking is something that will come naturally as you like put yourself out there more and you're sure of like what you can accomplish. But oftentimes it can also,
I too, to be
it is
honest.
terrifying. Yeah, I was gonna
They'll
say,
tell me like they're not gonna like you. They're gonna like
mm,
think you're just an American and all this stuff. And so I really had to. I mean, I showed up there. I had to put on my confident hat, go into those rooms, and just pray that my hard work and my own education about their culture and how they work and how they do sales and whatnot was gonna work for them. And I opened myself up to them, and I stayed late and got to know him personally, and I actually had a couple of people who I consider my cultural coaches, the people who
Mm,
would teach me the things that I didn't know about the UK and about British people and about the melting pot that is London. And they were the ones that really helped me navigate that. And so absolutely blessed that there were
yeah.
people in the office that would be willing to do that, but I wouldn't have been able to had people not supported me in that.
Yeah, and this is such a great example of like you taking a risk and it working out because you did all the things that you needed to like make sure you're prepared. You have your culture coaches in a sense. You did all the things, but have you ever been in a situation where, it was on the flip side where you sort of felt out of place and how did you navigate that? Um, just being in the table that maybe you weren't comfortable in.
Yeah. I my role is business development, which means I'm pretty much always going to be around C-suite because they're the ones that get in the room and actually do the pitches. I'm the one who preps them. I do all the back work. I'm the one, again, the introvert who's like kind of hiding in the back. I'll prep them, get them ready, but they're the ones that get out there, which means it's usually the CEOs. It's usually the VPs, SVPs, EVPs that are really pitching it because the they're the thought leader in the space. And so I've always been at that table, and I luckily all of this is just going back to somebody who's supported me in it. Luckily, I had someone say, if you have the idea, tell the idea. And I would like type my ideas in and like ping it to them. And they're like, say it. I'm not saying it for you, say it. And so I would have to say the idea that I had. And if it was wrong, it was wrong. And it would just be a total dud. And I would go back and actually write down what was a dud. And then I would type in, oh, I have another idea. Say it. Say it. So I'd
Mm,
say it. Okay, I'm doing it. I'm getting flushed just thinking about when I was younger saying it, and it would work, and that one actually worked. So I'd write it down and I'd actually analyze afterwards. I'd analyze what worked, what didn't, what they liked to hear, what they didn't, what would have pushed it forward. Really strategic thinking and prepping and analyzing my own thoughts. I still do that today, even if I figure out a new business pitch is going to be a win or a lose. I figure out why it would be both and kind of analyze all of the things and ask the questions and say it. Um, so yeah, I always had been at that table, and now it's really interesting because now those that table is actually becoming my peer set because I'm more
mm.
senior in my own role, and that is a weird transition to being a doer to a peer and figuring out what that means. I don't know why no one really talks about that. Sonny, you're like, yeah, I can
Yeah,
see
it's
it,
weird.
right? It's a weird
Yeah.
transition from
And I
junior
don't think
to
anyone talks about it
senior.
because it's just like so obviously the goal. It's like aspirational and it's like and then you get to the thing that you wanted and then you're there. And like hooray, you did it.
And then what you're suggesting is no longer like a say it and see what happens. Like, no, you have to say it and it has to be right.
Yeah, you say it
You
and then
have
people
to go
just
through
do
that.
it. They just
Yeah,
assume it's a good idea.
it's got to be right. So you need to analyze yourself from the beginning because you get to a point where when you say it, it means it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As someone who's more junior, I am curious, like, because I haven't, but fingers crossed, met that point yet. How, like, for me, honestly, my confidence or lack thereof would come into play in this situation where it's like, oh, you only know me, or you previously knew me as someone who's asking questions and sort of doing.
Yeah.
How do you how did you struggle with like having that confidence to just say it and like they respect your opinion?
I love that specifically what you said on in the future they might only know me as the person that asks the questions. At some point, the last time you've talked to someone is going to be their lasting memory of you. And so you're going to have to get to the point where every time you talk to someone, you have to show up well prepped,
Mm,
well read, I mean, you have to be there and give that whoever it is, you have to give them the 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 time of day. Like you have to actually work for it, and you have to show up in a way that when you leave, they're going to remember you as the person who prepped well for them and the person that was confident in the conversation. And they might remember the conversation. They might not remember it at all, but they will remember what they saw, and they'll remember how they felt, and they'll remember what you did to make them feel that way. And so as you get more senior in your career, they're going to remember you as the person that prepped well, as the person
Mm,
who gave them the respect and time of day. And so it's going to be less about them ever thinking of you as a junior and more of a person who showed up and showed up with respect. And you can always then continue to reinforce that you are more senior, that you have more ideas, that you are more confident. You can always bring that to the table, but they're always going to remember that one thing that maybe the first time they see you. Um, and it's kind of up to you to help them remember who you are now. Like the Plank Center
mm.
might remember me only as a junior in college, and that was like 14 years ago. I hope they don't remember me only by that,
I'm
right?
sure they do not, but
I don't
you were memorable.
Who knows? But I mean, you're already doing what you need to do by being here, just showing
Yeah.
up. One thing that I want everyone to hear is something that I heard from my global market CEO, Joanne Robertson, is she grew up in Council Flats, which is kind of the same thing as Section 8 in the States. And someone asked her on a town hall, because you grew up this way, did you ever see yourself at the table? And her
Mm,
answer was, I never didn't see myself at the table. I never thought that I wasn't ready for the table. And she put herself in those positions and never thought that she was anything less than she was. And she got there and she continues to get there and she continues to not only be at those tables, but then bring people along with her. And so if we learn anything, it's the people that are around us really matter. How you bring people along really matters. And just your own confidence in yourself and telling yourself that you deserve to be at that table is what's going to get you there. And so I've always wanted to relay that story because it floored me when I heard it. And I've never thought about being at a table in a different way. Like it's just gets you gets you right in the blood. It makes you want to work so hard because of that. Okay,
I
that's
absolutely love that because it's kind of like when you act like the role you're gonna be in, you start to move in that way and
yeah,
like it's not even about like getting their acceptance or anyone else's acceptance. It's really just like
yeah.
being comfortable as like the role you are, you know?
And
So
if
that's
someone has
awesome.
an issue with who you are, they don't have enough time in their day to become the CEO one day.
Yeah.
Mm,
So just keep doing you. And if people have an issue with it, they're not going to be along beside you in the future, anyways.
yeah.
Now we're going to do a special tradition that we have on Talking Points, which is rapid fire questions. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
We didn't prep you with any of these, but we want your immediate response, okay?
Okay.
What's the most unusual talent you have?
Oh my gosh. I can. Oh, my maternity leave. All I've been doing is watching flights go over. I can tell you exactly what plane is above me at all times now.
Myreete, an
Whoa.
aerospace enthusiast.
Yeah.
What is the song that best defines you?
Rapid fire.
Oh no. Um. Um. Wait. Oh God. I should have looked this up. Okay. There's this guy named Stu Larson. He's like the smallest artist ever, and he sings a song about Chicago. And I'll send you the name of it later.
I love that.
I
We'll
need
have
to
to put
look
it in the
these.
show notes.
I
Okay,
know.
Tamara, you can do the next one because my dog keeps barking.
What's your favorite commercial currently on TV right now?
Anything that is not about the election.
I hear that. Yes.
Is this, wait, what time is this going to be posted though? It might age you.
I, I
Eh,
think we should be fine. Yeah. Do you want me to do the next one too?
no, I got this.
Okay.
What's your favorite travel destination?
Ooh, oh, Portugal. Anything Portugal. Done.
Oh, that
Done.
was quick. Wait, I kind
Done.
of want to know more. Like,
Oh my God. I'll tell you all about it. I love
Rapid fire.
okay,
heart.
sorry. Are you binge watching anything or reading anything right now?
Oh, reading the book Super Communicators. I love it. I this year I wanted to learn to talk about storytelling and figure that out. And so Super Communicators, and then I have like a sleuth of like six other books that are all about telling a story and how to do it. Malcolm Gladwell also just came out with a new tipping point, but it's all about the negative tipping points, which I'm very excited to read.
Hmm.
What's the weirdest food combination you've ever tried?
I don't know about the weirdest food combination ever, but if the Tootsie Roll Inc. company ever goes out of business, I might die because I love Tootsie Rolls so much, and it's my dream to be there to do their marketing or to do their PR because I never want them to go out of business.
You have a personal stake in the
It's
ongoing business of Tootsie
my
Rolls.
mom will put in to like 5 bags of Tootsie Rolls and some lots of bourbon in her bags when she comes to visit me in London because you can't get those here.
Oh, wow. Fun fact.
I didn't know.
If you could instantly learn any new skill, what would it be?
Can it be storytelling? Terrible at it. I need to learn it. I think
I'm
that
sure
we
you're
are
not
missing
terrible
it.
at it.
No,
You
I'm
told
really.
a good story today.
I have a list of stories that I think are hilarious that I want a comedian to rewrite for me because they have happened in my life and I'm not funny enough to say them.
Is that girlhood? I also have a notes with all of my favorite moments in my life, and I just want someone to write about
Yes.
it.
See? It's
Okay, I should start one. They're all just like living right here. Um, One of my favorite things about Myreete is every time I'm on a call with her, it always comes back to some notes that she has in her phone. Like you have so many, you have like
so
a
many.
list of fun facts about you for when that, like for when you
Yes.
have to do like
Two
two
truths
truths
and
and
a
a lie.
lie. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I have that too.
Yes.
Are
Incredible
we the same
idea.
people, Myreete?
Yeah,
That's how you can end these is two truths and a lie.
yeah. And you do so well prepared. Okay, we're gonna call it with that one. Thank you so much, Myreete. Tamara, you want to close us out?
Yes, I mean, thank you. This was such a fruitful conversation. I definitely learned a lot, Myreete. Do you have any last words? Do you want to leave us with any nuggets today?
Uh, I- I'm just grateful for the opportunity to talk to you guys. I'm also grateful for the Planck Center because in everything that I have ever done in my career, something about it has come right back to the Planck Center and supporting me in it and supporting somebody else I know and love in it. And so, just a reminder to get involved in our industry and get involved in mentorship and leadership. And if you need an avenue to do that, Planck Center can.
Awesome. Well said. And so, we appreciate you sharing your journey and your perspective with us, Myreete. Thanks again so much for joining us. To our listeners, we hope you enjoyed this conversation and we'll catch you on the next episode of Talking Points.
Talking Points is powered by the Planck Center for Leadership in Public Relations. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, or watch the video series on YouTube. You can follow the Planck Center on Instagram or LinkedIn at Planck Center PR for more content. Thanks for listening.